Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ellie. If you're new here, today I am filming a video on why I decided to get rid of my smartphone and switch over to a flip phone. Just a basic old flip phone. Well, it's new, but in the grand scheme of things, it's considered old. I honestly am just going to talk about my thoughts on why I decided to go this route and what led me to this. I don't have an outline or anything to, go off of points or anything. So this is just my heart and my mind of what I was thinking and what I think now about the whole process. Also, I'm going to share a couple books of what led me, I think, or encouraged me to get to this point in my life of using technology. So first off, back in the beginning of May of this year, I deleted all of my social media except for YouTube because I do YouTube as like a hobby. I didn't really feel like that was considered social media to me. So I deleted Instagram. I had close to 5,000 followers, which isn't a lot in, the grand scheme of followers, but I was considered more of like a micro influencer, I would say. I had sponsorships from different brands. It was something I enjoyed for a while. And then the more we had babies, the more I just felt like it became a huge distraction. And I was easily influenced by some of the people I was following. And some things I just saw were really negative. A lot of the things to me, the cons outweighed the pros in a sense. And my eyes were really truly opened with Instagram and Facebook after I read this book, Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport, Choosing a Focused Life in a Noisy World. This book changed my life, I think, and what really kind of led me to the point of choosing a dumb phone, if you will, instead of my smartphone. Great book. Honestly, I will probably go back and read this again. Cal Newport is an amazing, productive, motivating guy who doesn't have social media and has never had social media. And so this is his perspective. What he sees are the pros and cons of social media, more cons in a sense. He doesn't encourage you completely to get rid of it. He gives you some tips, but in the end of it, you get his point of he really thinks it's ridiculous, if not stupid, to have social media. My take on it, because of the negative effects it can have on your mental and your emotional state. And that was one of the big key factors of why I was like, I'm done with social media. I agree with him. I've seen this, and this is why I got to the point of even ordering the book, because I was like, what does he have to say about this? There's got to be someone out there that's smart enough to talk about this, that sees what I'm feeling in a way and has data and science and stuff to back it up. And so, yeah, grand scheme of things, the way AI is designed to keep us on our smartphones. It's designed to keep our attention. Or even now that they've come out with shorts and reels and all these 7-second clips, because our attention spans are so short, we get so bored so easily. We don't know how to stay patient with anything, or to even stay satisfied with anything anymore because of the way smartphones are designed. So this is a really great book. I highly recommend it. So after deleting social media, I kind of went through a detox process, and that's why I bought this book, The 40-Day Social Media Fast. This book wasn't as great as this. This is I think it was encouraging in a way, because it's like every day it talks about, the detox process of if you were doing a fast, but it kind of helped me get through the detox process of deleting social media. I honestly felt like I lost a community in a way. In a sense, I did, but I really wanted to plug more into my real life. I mean, right now I have 3 littles, so that's very, very difficult right now, but I know eventually I'm going to get to that point. But this kind of helped with that. So I kind of was going through a detox process, and it probably wasn't the smartest to do it when I was newly postpartum, but I knew I would be really addicted to my phone during that postpartum season, and I didn't want to be. I wanted to be fully present with those newborn days with our 3rd baby. And honestly, it was I found myself so incredibly bored. It's like I didn't know how to be bored. I didn't know how to sit for 5 seconds and deal with my thoughts. I will say you're more aware of what you're thinking because you have time to think about things. I feel honestly smarter in a way because I have more clarity with my life. I have more clarity with relationships, more clarity with certain situations. I don't feel as anxious when I'm out in public as I did when I had a smartphone. I feel more connected to my neighborhood and the world around me now that I no longer have a smartphone or social media for that matter. So yeah, I was incredibly bored, and there were certain things I did to combat that boredness. And I got like word search books, and I did read a lot more. I probably read 10 books within the first 3 months after that because I was just like, I don't know what to do with myself. I don't know what to do with my hands or my mind. It's almost as if I didn't want to think about anything. I didn't want to let myself think or to, it was really hard for me to be present and get used to the noise around me because I was so used to blocking it out. So that's kind of where I was whenever I deleted social media. And so as the months went on, I thought, why do I even have a smartphone? I'm literally just getting on it because that's a habit. I'm getting on it and scrolling the weather. I'm getting on it and scrolling Pinterest and scrolling emails and any app I could even find that would give me some sort of satisfaction or like hit of adrenaline, if you will, because that's truly what it is. It's just like you get used to this high of what is that called? Is it oxytocin or whatever they say whenever you log on to Instagram and you see all the notifications and you just like, I don't know, they call it something. But, and he talks more about it in this book of like, it's almost like an addict thing. So, and I wouldn't fully say I was addicted, like hardcore addicted to social media, but it had me hooked. It had me hooked. And so I realized that my phone was just a distraction. It was constantly calling me to the point of like, get on it and just scroll because the day was hard and I wanted to ignore my kids for just 2 seconds so I could breathe or decompress in a way. And I would snap if, they needed something, and I hated that. I was like, why am I snapping? I'm just looking on my phone at something and getting frustrated if I can't look on my phone. And I didn't like that. I didn't like the fact that it was a huge distraction in my day. And for a while I tried to put it upstairs, but then I would be nervous if Taylor called me or I would need my phone for something. And so it would stay in the kitchen, but then it was like anything that has internet, I knew I would want to get on it. And so to me, I just was like, you know what? And my personality is the type that if I'm constantly seeing a problem, I deal with it like almost immediately. I wouldn't say I'm an extremist in a sense, but that kind of thing drives me nuts. If I'm constantly having to think about something or I'm constantly thinking about it over and over, then I'm like, okay, enough. I'm just going to do it. And so the thought of getting a flip phone kept occurring and occurring. And I was like, man, that would just make everything so much easier. I would not want to get, I wouldn't be, pulled to get on my phone, pulled to carry it around with me all day, every day. And it would just be eliminated altogether because it was just not worth it to me. It was not worth the distractions of my day. Having a smartphone was not worth any of it. And I know for me at first, I was like, man, if I get rid of my smartphone, I won't have a GPS. That was the first thing that occurred to me. And I think it's the first thing for a lot of people because having maps or Google Maps is so convenient and so helpful, especially for moms. That was my big concern. Everything else, I couldn't care less. And so I thought, you know what? I could just get a GPS. GPSs are really reliable. They keep them updated. So that is on my list. I have not had a smartphone for about a little over a month, and I haven't needed a GPS because I haven't gone anywhere that would put me outside of my local radius of needing it. I could print off directions. I don't own a printer, but I would like to get a GPS, and I think that's on my list for the new year, especially with us moving. So that is on my list. And I know that can kind of seem a little inconvenient, but I would much rather have that than not have it at all. So that was my first concern. And then the second was my camera. And I thought, you know what, I have two really nice cameras. If I truly wanted to capture moments, I could plan to take photographs, or I want to be more consistent with getting family photos taken and investing in that. I think not having a camera to snap, photos all day, every day does help you want to be in the moment more with your family and your children, so then you can truly remember it. I think photos can definitely be helpful, but it's just a snapshot. It's just a paused moment in someone's lifetime, and it's not truly telling you what's going on in the background or anything like that. And so that leads me to the next book that I really have been enjoying. I'm almost done with it, and that is Amusing Ourselves to Death. So I believe he wrote this book in the 70s or 80s, and he was talking about the TV, and the thoughts and opinions and perspectives he has is truly amazing, and like literally opens your eyes to think about it in a totally different light and to see the negatives behind the television. But just what he talks about is amazing to me, because we have smartphones now, we have internet access, we have access to so many different things. And reading this book was just like, it gives me goosebumps, because to me, I was just like, oh my goodness, I've never thought of it like that, because I was born into the age of, I think internet was around or just getting started when I was born. I have no idea. But whenever I remember my mom was like 35 when she got her first smartphone. So to me, I already knew that you could live without smartphones because our parents did it for so long. I think there's so many negatives to giving children phones at such a young age, especially iPads and tablets and all these things that we think they need, they truly don't. And so honestly, I got to a point where I was done, and I was like, the more I read and the more I researched and discovered, the more I was encouraged to, you know what, this can be done, and it should be done for me, because it's going to make my day and my life so much better and so much full of purpose and more prosperous with my time. And I think that was something the Lord was really encouraging me in, because I want to be present with my kids. We don't know what it's like to raise kids with phones in front of their faces. The phones are still pretty new to see that it can have really negative effects. It was just making eye contact with our children. So that's kind of my perspective and why I decided to get a flip phone. I will also link a couple videos that I've watched in the past. There's really not a lot of content out there on this subject because it's not being done. People aren't doing this. I will say people probably think I'm crazy, but you know what? I would much rather my life be changed by this than worry about what people think. I really could care less. I will say it takes me forever to text on this thing because I have to hit the button so many times. But I would much rather it be hard for me to get on this than it be super easily accessible, if that makes sense. It does take forever for my phone to die. It doesn't have FaceTime or anything, so when I make a phone call, I'm literally just making a phone call. And I probably will do a more updated video on not having a smartphone. There are moments that I've noticed that I'm like, man, I wish I had a internet access because I'm so bored. Whenever I would nurse Ivy, it caused me to be present when I nursed her, and instead of like scrolling my phone, or whenever you're sitting in the car and I'm waiting on my husband to come out of like an appointment. And so I've started bringing books in my diaper bag, or bringing books, like I have reading material all throughout the house pretty much, or I started knitting again and sewing because I have more time and bandwidth. And so those are things I've noticed. You find yourself bored more, which I think can be a good thing, because I think we need to get used to being bored again. Our attention spans in this society are nothing, and that's not good, because then we're raising the next generation like that, and that is not good at all. So anyway, that's kind of my thoughts and kind of where I'm at being a month and a half in of not having a smartphone. I will say this was another book that I read. This is 10 Arguments for Deleting Your Social Media Account Right Now. This is by Jaron Lanier. This is good. It definitely does confirm a lot of like what I was thinking, and it's a different perspective on how he thinks Facebook makes us into a-holes. which is very true. But this one was really good. And you can get all these on Amazon. I'm sure there's a lot more resources out there to encourage you and to give you different thoughts and to give you different ideas of why this is so important. Or if you need someone to talk you into this more. This is just my perspective. This is where I'm coming from a mom of 3 little ones under the age of 4, and being a stay-at-home mom. This has been life-changing for me, and I really want to encourage you, if you're in the same position I am and you've even thought about it, I think you should go for it. I think we need to get used to knowing how to navigate our local radius and drive and go different places without and being fully reliable on a phone to direct us where we need to go. I think we need to get better at knowing how to get someplace from point A to point B, whether that's printing off maps or just memorizing your local area. So just my thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any thoughts or perspectives or comments, I would love to read them. Leave them down below. I will also link the videos I watched and these books. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new here, please subscribe, stick around. I will see you next time. Bye.